The tremendous void is the essential core of all phenomena, representing the result of infinitely distilling the sensory world down to its basic truth. This void is representative of the why of reality, the boiling, separating, and eternal reduction cycled forever and forever produces a truth of an ultimate and final nothingness, nothing at all. So often is the culmination of a philosopher's life work the uncovering of a darkness at the heart of all things. At first the world materializes to the philosopher, shrouded and bursting with bright things and lightness, yet the crust of reality is cruel and deceptive, for underneath a deep, endless nothingness hums. Philosophers cyclically pursue the truth of all things. One after another they deploy different methods and techniques in the process, only to realize we are no closer to finding lightness at the core of reality than when we first began. Since this realization calcified, it was disseminated widely for all men, and quickly did searching for the why of all things cease as a preoccupation of philosophers. Philosophers have resigned themselves to a whole and embodied rejection of this cause. Philosophy today is only concerned with deconstruction through a gaze that seeks the lowest of perspectives, viewing the base of the mountain, the roots of trees, the weeds and grasses, in their most microcosmic and atomic form. Like Strauss says, we have lost the philosopher who is willing to chase the whole, who stands atop the highest mountains as a purveyor of the cause of the heavens and the earths. We must first ask ourselves, however, why does the deployment of philosophical thought and scientific inquiry only uncover this tremendous void of nothingness when it thinks itself closest to locating truth? It is the why that once drove philosophy after all, but that seems today a secondary endeavour. Why something rather than nothing? The same feeling is evoked when interrogating this question as one stares longingly into night. The imminent response is blackness and terror without any end. Nietzsche once warned us of the horrors that follow by staring too long into the abyss. Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster, for when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you. My interpretation of this passage is that fighting monsters is the same as willing for knowledge and increasing one's understanding of the world at any cost, a descent down into the rabbit hole, into the monster's lair. In this lair you encounter these monsters as harbingers of the universe's deepest secrets, and only once defeated does the revelatory knowledge of the monster release itself. Most weaker races cannot stomach this newfound knowledge, and will become a monster themselves, of the spindliest and lowest order. They have the utmost faith in expanding their understanding of the world, but these Jungian shadows and depths that lurk when one pursues the why can quickly take over. So the men have either resolved to leave out the why altogether and set out only for knowledge found in crags and crevices. They become evasive to the truth and focus attention on particular knowledge, not knowledge of the whole. The orthodoxy prizes knowledge of the specifics, like market efficiency, multilateral organizations, government enterprises, and the like. We look at leaves and wood, but forget the forest. Only the highest races, like Nietzsche says, can trawl through the depths of the abyss at the feet of its most formidable beasts, and see that the tremendous void of nothingness does not consume them, but they rise above with this new knowledge in use of overcoming and expansion. So then most weaklings are comfortable leaving it to the highest races. After all, the tremendous void of nothingness is the universe's most powerful weapon. It is most often used for ill, though within it lies a goodness waiting. The philosophy of the great man is plumbed both in the dark trench, where monsters lie awaiting, and atop bright mountains overlooking picturesque landscapes. Even Nietzsche himself believed the darkness was not as animalian and sinister as most would have it. All it takes is courage. The quiet crucible of solitude, self-introspection, and a deep and enduring longing is where one might locate the why. A night spent under stars with a gaze directed beyond earth and into the heavenly realms beyond, where the cosmological insignificance of oneself that usually streams beneath the surface of consciousness is brought outwards and scrutinized with prying and probing eyes. One cannot make themselves smaller, and this itself is liberating. One cannot transcend the harshness of reality, and this too is liberating. One cannot negate the inevitable knocking of the reaper at the end, and the turning of oneself in for the grave that must follow. The utter absurdity and unimportance of it all. This itself is liberating. Alternatively, it is on the top of mountains where one looks outward and feels the significance of the iron shaking and movement of man, that another abyss is overcome. One treats the question of why so indifferently, and thrusts themselves upon the world. This pursuit of the truth is not an insurmountable nor even impossible task, but a pursuit comfortably at hand. The indelible impression upon the annals of history is an inevitability of such a rare breed. Caesars, Napoleons, Hemingways, Woolfs, Christs, kings, and the like transcend their spatio-temporal constraints and force themselves into the collective consciousness for the history of our race. All great things must first wear terrifying and monstrous masks in order to inscribe themselves on the heart of humanity.